Guten Morgen. I know some of you guys don't care about this, but the tax man certainly does, and government bodies will chase you no matter where you are in the world, because, I mean, hello, I come from Chicago. We look at Al Capone. He did a lot of bad things, but you know what they got him for? Tax evasion. That's right, because there's two things you cannot escape. That is the Grim Reaper and the tax man. And even if you rip, they'll still get you, because they'll get your properties, they'll get whatever you owned, they'll go to your family. I mean, it is interesting. So a lot of you guys are wondering about cryptocurrencies, capital gains, taxes. Thank you to this man for the idea. And my name is Kubera. Welcome to the channel, or you can just call me Mike. Let's talk about it today. I know some of you are like, I'm making money and I'm not going to report it at all, but eventually, if you don't do it the right way, I mean, we'll discuss about it, but if you don't do it the right way, well, you might have a nice friendly knock on your door one day where it's just like, we're taking all your stuff. So here is where it gets very interesting, okay, because even though, governments, let's start first of all with that, they see Bitcoin, they recognize its value now. China, America, Europe, they're like, wow, there's a lot of money. Okay, cool. There's a lot of money for us because people are making money. So, you know, we need a percentage of that. 25, 40%. I mean, some places have like outrageously high. It's just like, yeah, see ya. So obviously nobody likes paying their taxes, and some people, they just don't want to do it because you don't want to support like some other person's education or building the roads or whatever. You want to buy that new Ferrari. I understand. Hey, who doesn't? So with Bitcoins and altcoins and all this stuff is very interesting because some of these are anonymous, and it's a little bit difficult to trace, because if the government spent all their time trying to trace all the transactions out there, they would waste a bunch of time, okay? It's not going to happen, at least not in this current day and age. So there's pretty much an honor system at the moment for capital gains, like, yeah, you should report it within like 2 or 3 years. I don't know the exact details, but yeah, the government's like, okay, cool, you made $1 million. Just tell us that you made $1 million so we can take like 30% of that. And we trust that you're going to totally report that, right? Not go to like Monaco or just not talk to us at all about it and like never admit online. By the way, even if you never pay your taxes and your report is 0, you're like, but you have a social media profile, or there's something like you're telling your friends and bragging, or they visit your house, the IRS visits your house and they see like, wow, that house is $9.7 million and he's reporting 0. Well, I wonder what's going on there. You can't say, oh, it was a donation from grandma, because they would still tax that. I mean, certain donation amounts are taxable. So a lot of people think that, okay, even though Bitcoin's anonymous, Monero, all this stuff, well, the government's never going to know. But in the future, we're not sure how they're going to be tracing this. And even if we look at simple examples like me moving to Poland, America's one of those few countries where they will chase you, no matter where you are, because Merkel loves that tax money, okay? Uncle Sam, he wants to know, like he wants to know everything. You know the NSA, they spy everywhere. So while making a bank account here, something as simple as that, technically I'm sure if I didn't give him my passport, if I waited till I had my Polish passport, maybe things would be a little bit different, but they'd still find out anyways. So I had to sign a waiver form that pretty much said, yeah, over $500 or whatever, America gets all the reports from this bank account. They know everything. They know all the details. That's why I have about like $2 in there. Because seriously, I mean, if you have barely any money in the bank, it's always good to have a couple $1,000s, because I realize that having all your money in cryptocurrencies may not be the most stable thing to do at the moment. So technically, you don't actually have to pay your taxes. This is the point everyone was waiting for. You don't have to pay your taxes if you don't convert into fiat currency. If you take, let's say, Bitcoin, and you're holding Bitcoin for a couple years, and then you sell the Bitcoin into Litecoin or Ethereum after Bitcoin rose up a bunch, and then Litecoin goes up, and then you go into other altcoins and you start doing day trading, and eventually you grow $10,000 into $100,000 into $10 million somehow because you're like a crazy investor. At that point, you're still not kind of like, there's the honor system and all that, but who's going to know? If you have multiple wallets, if you're doing the right precautions, if you don't have too much money, and like, by the way, you shouldn't ever have, if you have like $10 million, you should never put that into a bank account, just one bank account, just like, oh, hey, $10 million just chilling there, because that's going to lose value, and that's just silly. If you put it into one trading account, well, let's say Polonix crashes and boom, there goes your 10 million bucks. So yeah, with those amounts, you should always just kind of spread it out, just for, you know, there's a lot of risk. Anyways, if you have a bunch of money, at that point, there's multiple things you could do. If you do want to cash out to fiat currency, you're able, let's say you're an American, you're able to renounce your citizenship and move somewhere where there's lower taxes or no taxes, but in those areas where there's like no taxes, there's still a price, and it's like, Monaco is a great example. Sure, yeah, okay, whatever, taxes, but then try living there. It's pretty darn expensive, and there's other weird stuff. But anyways, it all depends what you're looking for out there. Some people are completely satisfied with that. There's a lot of people moving from Britain to Monaco, and they're, you know, selling $40 million companies, and they're like, oh wow, I saved myself millions of dollars. Like, okay, cool, whatever. If you have 10 million bucks and you're an American citizen, you can renounce that, move somewhere where it's nicer. For example, something, I just saw this, that in the Netherlands, technically you don't have to pay capital gains, but I'm sure there's limits to that, and it's like, alright, whatever. But the other option, if you don't want to do something crazy like renounce your citizenship, or start moving to different countries, or trying to go into different bank accounts, which, by the way, if you want to do that, you're able to, you know, kind of mix the money a little bit, and you don't even have to have bank accounts. With crypto, it makes it a little bit easier. You're able to send it to mixers. Of course, if you have a bunch of money, you don't want to send it to one mixer, you want to send it to multiple mixers, and then you might want to go into Monero, make a Monero wallet, kind of go into different altcoins, and then, you know, you might lose a couple percentage, but hey, that's still nothing at the end of the day, when eventually you're able to deposit into like the Cayman Islands, and you're all good at that point. But let's say you don't want to go through all of that, right? What do? Maybe you just hold. That's it. You never go into fiat currency, and or you take out just a teeny tiny amount that maybe you tax that, or you still report zero, or like, oh, these are donations or whatever. There's so many loopholes you could do. Or even at that amount, if you do pay your taxes, you're able to get a good CPA who's able to get you a bunch of loopholes. Anyways, so if you hold your money in Bitcoin, in altcoins, whatever it is, and the prices keep going up and you make a bunch of money, or, you know, they stabilize, or whatever happens over the next couple of decades, you could reach a point where you're able to buy cars, houses, television. I mean, you already kind of are, but it's still not like popular. But in the future, yeah, it will happen. You are able to kind of buy stuff with whatever altcoins you have, and then if you buy it, and you make sure you're not buying like Bugattis and stuff, and you have like 10 of them in your garage, and there's too many and you can't fit, it's just like, ah, gosh, what a first world problem. Then yeah, there are ways around the system. Because who's gonna know? Who's gonna know? Who's gonna be able to trace all of that? And even if they do trace something, let's say you're just dealing with hundreds of millions of dollars, and you're like, ah, gosh, there's way too much to deal with this. I just can't hide it all. Even if they find some, and you have to pay fees or whatever, somehow you get out of it, it'll still be a small percentage of what you actually have. And that's most likely what's going to happen with a bunch of these people who are playing around with cryptos. They will pay their taxes at a portion, but the other half, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Oh yeah, totally. I mean, hey, you want that new Rolex Submariner? It's beautiful. Gosh, oh, you don't want Uncle Sam buying 10 more. No. You want that baby. Trust me. Yeah, honestly, the safest thing to do is hold. And even if you are going to sell, if you have a bunch of Bitcoin, it might take forever to do this, but if you are going to pay your taxes, you're still able to sell your, on top of all the profit you made from trading or holding or whatever it was, right? You're able to sell your Bitcoin or Ethereum at a higher price to the right individuals out there. So there's two things. One, if you are going to go the route that you're selling individual Bitcoins or little fractions for 10%, 15, 20, 30 over, sure, hey, maybe that's enough to just pay the taxes right then and there. But there's the other option where if you have so much Bitcoin, where it's just bulk deals, like you have $10 million worth of Bitcoin, you're not going to find a deal like that anywhere else. People love buying bulk. You know, government auctions, I did make a video about that. Tell me one place where you're going to find, other than like these random outlier examples of billionaires or whatever, tell me one place where you're going to find a bulk sale other than a government auction, which for government auctions, not everybody is approved. And especially if you made your money in weird, sketchy ways, well, yeah. If you find an individual or a group or company or whatever, there's so many people who would actually be interested in buying $10 million worth of Bitcoin right there. They would not even care about paying a high fee for that, because that is so much Bitcoin, you're able to start anything with it. You're able to start your own exchange, you're able to start your own company or whatever's going on with that. So yeah, I would not be selling your Bitcoin certainly for like, oh, you know, 1%. So even if you do pay your taxes, you really kind of don't have to pay your taxes because the fees you earn from that just go straight off. So it's actually not a bad deal. You have two options, two main options really. You pay your taxes on a portion and, you know, it's kind of like, all right. Or you don't pay your taxes ever, or you delay it till for as long as possible. If you do pay your taxes, you're able to mess around with that so much that, I mean, there's no way they're going to trace every single tiny amount. If you're using multiple wallets, if you're making sure that it's just not like a straight deposit, like, listen, if you're going to sell Bitcoin, then you deposit like $1 million, like, bam! Government will love that, dude. They'll be like on top of you. Oh, man. That is how you make friends really quick. Or actually enemies, because then if you don't want to pay, they'll not like you too much. Anyways, it's up to you to decide what you want to do. You should totally respect the honor system, and I definitely don't recommend you doing anything against the law. But if you are, I mean, technically no one can stop you, but you should totally just be a good guy. I mean, listen, morals, ethics, there's a bunch of reasons why you should Listen, Rolexes are super nice. Anyways, my name is Mike. Hopefully you enjoy this video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share. Spend that money! Spend that money! Woohoo! Crypto, baby. Peace. We shall see you guys tomorrow.